Hi guys, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of ABC OC TV. Today we're here with Jen Simpson with Jen Simpson Design, and we're going to get started by learning more about her company.
Hi Jen, thanks so much for being here today with us.
Yeah.
So tell us, what kind of child were you? What was your favorite thing to do or play with?
When I was younger, a lot of art stuff, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, I did art lessons. I started young doing art lessons. First, my mom tried like ballet and dance, but it definitely changed to art after that. And then I do a lot of like beadwork and, like crafty stuff.
What kind of art classes did you do? Were they like in school or was it like an after school program?
It was a private after school program.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had this guy, he was a fine artist and he did lessons in his basement. So
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very exclusive.
Yeah.
So Jen, what university did you go to and what did you study?
I went to Bowling Green State University, which is in Ohio, Toledo area.
Okay.
And I studied graphic design. So I have a BFA in graphic design.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's always been art from the beginning,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Did you grow up in Ohio?
Yep. Grew up in Ohio. I grew up in Columbus originally, moved to Bowling Green for college. That's where I met Luke, my husband, who also does the business with me. And then eventually moved out here. So, yeah.
Oh, so you guys work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we work together. So I do all of the front end stuff. I do like, emails, proofs, all of the art stuff, setting up the designs, talking with clients, meeting with clients. And then Luke does all the back end. So he does all of the production, assembling, shipping, taxes, all
the
of that.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
All the fun
Yeah.
stuff.
All the stuff that I don't
awesome.
really want to do.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome
Yeah.
to have somebody to help you on those ideas.
Yeah, and he's totally for it, which is cool. So he does all the production stuff, and then I do all the front end stuff. Yeah.
So fun. How is it working with your husband? Is it annoying? Is it nice?
Are there moments where you're just like,
I mean, yeah, there's definitely some of that. It's not all like peas and carrots for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, luckily, like he does his end and I do my end, so there's not like a ton of overlap.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, this is what I'm doing, and then I pass it off to him, and then that's what he does. So it works out pretty good that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, sometimes we've got some overlap when it comes to like, oh, I think we should do like this on like the website or like changing like things like that, or but for the most part,
Pretty nice though, because you guys can appreciate each other and what you do, and you guys actually understand what you do,
Yeah.
which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples don't get to see that and understand that with each other.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like he knows what I'm going through, I know what he's going through, and so yeah, we see each other on like day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it. So before starting Jen Simpson Design, what did you do?
I was a graphic designer for a headwear and accessories company in the fashion industry.
Oh.
Yeah, so I designed hats all day long.
Is that here
Interesting.
in Orange County? Or?
Yeah, first it was in Ohio. They had an office in like Northwest Ohio area, and then they had a satellite office out here in Irvine.
Okay.
So I like convinced them to move me out here. I was like, you guys need a designer in Irvine
Yeah.
to meet with clients and stuff, and they moved me out here. So I was like, sweet.
So you said hats?
Hats,
What
like
kind of hats?
any hat you can think of. So we would do like, fedoras, truckers, regular like baseball hats, flat brim hats. I mean, anything. We work with a lot of like Quicksilver, Roxy, Vans, all of them.
Yeah.
So whatever was trending at the time is what we would make.
So what is the company called?
It's called Factory Direct International.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were pretty much a legion between the private like sportswear companies and then the factories in China. So like we would take their orders and their designs, and since we were a bigger company, then we'd feed it to like our like factories and stuff so they could get a presence there for their production.
That's very different than wedding stationery.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How did you transition to the wedding industry?
It was like we started with our wedding,
Okay.
and I was like, this is cool, I could do this, because before I was like, actually in college, someone wanted to design wedding invitations, and I was like, dude, who wants to design wedding invitations? But it started with ours, and I was like, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. And it was like at the very beginning of Etsy, when Etsy was coming around, and I had learned about Etsy, and so we had started putting stuff on there, and it kind of like started to snowball, and I was like, oh, there's all these different things you can do, and I could be more creative, because I mean, even in the apparel industry, it is creative, but you're also like, I mean, you're conforming to your client a lot more. You're knocking stuff off a lot. It's like there's not a lot of creative space, at least where I was at.
Right. Super like consumer based, what the market wants. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So doing this was kind of like my outlet, my thing. So we started on Etsy, and then my husband was like, "This is cool. I can help you." And so he jumped in and did production. So when we were out here, I worked my full-time job for a while, and he would do like all the production end while I was at work, and I'd come home and do all of the other stuff and secretly try answer my emails at work and all that stuff. And then so finally we got busy enough to where I was able to quit. Awesome. And then we both became full-time that way.
So did your husband quit his job as well before starting to help you with your business?
He kind of stopped. The cool thing was he was a sub at the time because he went to school for to be a phys ed teacher. And of course, we moved out here in 2009 with all the market stuff, and there was no such thing as a teaching job out here. So he was subbing, and that was the other reason why he was so on board to start working the production end, is because like we needed something else to help get some income going on. So he started that way, and when we were slow, he would pick up sub jobs and stuff like that. So it kind of ended up being a pretty awesome transition just because it was flexible for him.
Yeah, it was the right timing.
Yeah. So, that worked out that way, and then he became full-time. Yeah.
So from start to finish, how long have you had your business now?
If you count like when we really like first started, probably like 9 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've been around for a while, like from the very beginning, and then probably like full-time for both of us, 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the biggest change from the beginning in the wedding industry when you started until now?
Oh man, like the paper and materials, I think. Like when I first started, a lot of it was like more like kind of graphic oriented, like just in terms of like the layout and stuff. And now lately I feel like we've been getting back to more like traditional layouts and traditional styles, but really incorporating like more like luxury papers and really pretty like silk ribbons and playing with handmade papers and textures and stuff like that, which is cool.
I know we were talking about like acrylic too, right?
Yeah.
That's such a big thing right now.
Yeah.
Like
it's
alternative materials.
Yeah, getting away from just like, all right, this is your printed piece on a 5x7.
Right.
I feel like we're going so far away from that. Everyone wants like wood or acrylic or I love vellum.
Yeah, vellum's pretty cool because you can lay it like on top of different things and get that layering and like that cloudy effect. Like we've done, like the vellum invitations with like pictures behind it, which is cool. And then we've got an order now actually that we're going to be screen printing on acrylic, and then we'll do like a piece behind it. So you get cool like layering effects, thicker pieces, different materials.
So fun. And I feel like nowadays brides want things that are out of the box. I feel like they're like putting more in the designer's hands, which is nice. So then you kind of get to play around a little bit more. Yeah,
it is really cool. And people are open to doing, like wood or like different things like that. We've been working a lot more like collaborating with like calligraphers and, doing like custom work that way. And playing with like foil on like black paper and
I love that.
Like laser cutting and stuff like that. It's been really cool. Like the laser cut gatefolds and custom shapes. Yeah.
Nice. What do you think is like your favorite trend right now?
Right now, definitely the handmade paper. I'm like absolutely in love with it. It's just so pretty because it's just, each piece is different. It's getting more towards that fine art feel. Yeah. Especially when you incorporate like the calligraphy and then like wax seals, and it's more artisan, I guess. So
yeah, absolutely.
I had a couple that recently wanted everything hand torn, but they had no idea how much labor went into it. It's a lot. Every single side is literally hand torn. And you have to have a certain type of paper and certain type of printing for it.
Yeah, for most, we have found a handmade paper with like a true deckled edge, and we can feed it through our flat printer, which is awesome. Yeah. Because for a while I was told that you can only letterpress or foil on that paper. Mm-hmm. So I was like, because so many people would come to me wanting to do it, and then I'd give them the quote, and they'd be like,
never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Try something else.
Psych.
So now that we can flat print, it's like it's a lot more available to people.
That's
good to know.
That is good to know. Noted.
Yeah.
So we know that you're happily married with a baby. You kind of talked about how you and your husband met, but maybe we can go more into that story. And then how do you balance being a wife, mom, and business owner?
Okay, so we met in college, my senior year of college, and we've been together since. We were in Bowling Green for a while, then we moved down to Findlay. And
were you in class together, or like was it love at first sight?
we met through friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we both liked each other, like when we first met, and it was
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
Easy, that's cute. I love that.
Yeah, and we get along together pretty well, so I think it's like it's worked, you know. So then we moved out here. We waited a couple years before we had Logan 2.5 years ago. So we got to have some time to
nice.
Just be together, and because I mean, for a while my main focus was the business. I was like, I don't know if I want to have kids. Like, the business is my baby.
Right.
Like, this is what I do all the time. So and then it was like, all right, I guess it's time. Let's have the kid. Let's do this. Okay. So I mean, it took a while to adjust and change. It's a huge game changer, especially when you're used to doing things your way, like I'm definitely like 8 to 5. This is when you work, you get all your work done, and then you need to work in the evening, that's fine, but you start at 8 and keep going, So once we had Logan, it took me a while to adjust, and okay, this is okay if you don't start at 8. All right, this is okay if you need to stop and do this or that. Yeah, changing things around, and so took me a while to like wrap my head around that. And there's a lot of back and forth now. It used to be Luke and I in the office together. If I needed something, I'd ask him. Now, especially that Logan is older, we can't keep him in the office with us. There's too many sharp things and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's either downstairs with Logan or doing something with Logan, and I'm working, or vice versa. Yeah. And then on his nap, we both have some time to like jam it out. So there's a lot more like planning goes into it now. Yeah. Like trying to figure out, okay, I need to get my stuff done. Then we've got time for naps so he can do, this and this. And then if it's, more important for him to get this production stuff done, then I'll watch Logan. And then, so it's a lot of like trade off and then finish up whatever else we need to do at night kind of thing.
Wow, so you have to be really organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Otherwise you're like, oh no, I just forgot to do this. Yeah, it's a little intense, but like once you get used to like the flow, like then it works. Cause like we've kind of got a flow down now where like, I always get my emails done. I work in the morning, do all my production stuff, all of that, or all my proofs and everything. And then Luke will come up once Logan's down for his nap. He'll start working on like shipping and anything that needs to get out for the day. And then after that, like I'll either hang out with Logan and he'll finish up his stuff, or he'll go back and hang out with Logan and then I'll finish my stuff.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Wow. That's another reason why it's helpful to have a partner helping you.
Oh yeah,
with
for
your
sure.
company. Other people might have their other partner or spouse away at work all day.
Yeah, and
some are completely different.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's way more intense. I mean, we have Logan goes to childcare 2 days a week, so Tuesdays and Thursdays he's gone for the day, so we both have a chance to just like jam it out, which is good. If we didn't have that. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but he's so cute, so it's worth all the planning.
Yeah. And it's awesome to have him around, at home and stuff like that, and be able to like play with him. And I mean, when we are slow, like we're in San Clemente, so we're slow on a Friday afternoon, and we can go to the beach or whatever. So, so that's really cool.
So how do you get most of your business? Do you advertise anywhere?
So most of our business is now locally. It used to be, like when we first started, I would say probably 80% of our business was on Etsy.
Okay.
And then things have switched over the years. Things changed on Etsy, and we realized that we need to like start building our local and stuff like that. So we really put a lot of work into like getting to know people, doing more networking and stuff like that. So we've really grown locally, which has been awesome. And now that's more like 80% of our business. And then Etsy is kind of more like 20% of our business. So we kind of flipped it around. It really opened my eyes to be like, all right, you can't rely on just like one source for your income. Like we were like, Etsy's awesome. It's always going to be good. Yay. Yeah. And then things kind of changed. So we were like, all right, we need to figure out some other things. Yeah. So yeah, locally, networking, working with wedding planners, venues, photographers, you know, that's been like our main source. And then also, I mean, we advertise on The Knot, and that gets some flow coming through. We've advertised on some other websites. I feel like that's just been more for like, kind of like we advertise here, like, you know, on like being in the little black book and stuff like that. But The Knot has given us some good response. So yeah, The Knot, local, and then Etsy. Those are like our three main sources.
So Jen, if you weren't doing graphic design and stationery for weddings, what else would you be doing?
I would either still be in the action sports industry, or originally I had wanted to be an art teacher. So maybe that's what I would have done. I mean, I went to school for graphic design specifically, so I probably would have found something else within the design industry to do. Yeah. I'd always wanted to do fine art, but then I had, you know, like my parents, like, fine art is not a job. You will not make money doing that. Yeah. So that was like the main reason. It was like, all right, let's try graphic design because there's actually jobs for that and stuff. So
it's a lot easier to find steady work for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, something in the art industry still, but yeah.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, no problem.
It was so fun hearing all about your life, your crazy schedule. We commend you for that. I am not having kids anytime soon, so I give you a lot of kudos.
Yeah, it's intense, but it's awesome. You're always busy.
I love it.
But yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 2 of ABC OC TV with Danielle and Kelsey. We hope to see you next Tuesday, April 10th at Sea Legs on the Beach at our next ABC OC meeting. Link is right below in our bio. And be sure to subscribe to our channel, like our video, and comment. Let us know what you want us to ask our next interviewee in our next episode. We'll see you next time. Bye.